that they did one.
Yeah,
That's
they've
what it
hedged their
feels like.
bets, haven't they? Because they're either waiting for Pochettino to leave PSG or some other manager that they've got in mind. They're just waiting for them to come available so they can bin off Nuno. And
It's that, or they
that's
we don't
pretty
really
crap,
care.
isn't it? If that is the
It
case.
is, yeah. Yesterday, I mean, I was pleased that he took responsibility because he did, of a sorts, where he for that whole mess. But apparently, the Express is saying today that he had to delay that interview because of the sack, sack chants that were being shouted. So he had to delay it because it was, yeah. Well, I mean, I think probably our fans as well, but
well, yeah. I mean, the Express are the Express. I don't know whether that's true. But yes, I mean that's probably true.
Didn't he also say that? He said, I won't name names, but basically, the players didn't execute the tactics as I asked them to. Yeah, go for it. This is new. Ooh.
Big budget,
Oh, this is the next level. This is. Hang on a second.
The result and how it unfolded.
The performance was not good. The game plan was not good. The decisions were not good. So it was not. It's not a good day for us. Definitely not a good day.
You say the game plan wasn't good. Do you take responsibility for that? What was the game plan in the first half? Because you changed it at the interval.
I'm going to be honest with you, Jeff. I'm going to be honest with you. When you have a game plan, you have to make the right decisions in terms of who you want to put on the pitch to develop that game plan. So I take responsibility because the decisions were not according to the game plan. So I'm not going to individual tell what decisions I didn't do right, but the game plan was not according to the players that were on the pitch.
What do you make of that?
Well, it's just a bit confusing because he at first says that the game plan was wrong, and then he says that some of the players didn't follow the game plan. So that's.
And then he tries to sort of slightly change it at the end, saying, "I'm not going to say which one name," and then he starts to say of my ideas that weren't right. But he's
and also, if you saw the video when he says that he doesn't want to name, he does that snake impression. Does that. So I don't know what he is.
I don't want to name names, but.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like he's saying, I'm not naming names, but certain players that I trusted didn't follow my plan, and he's not gonna trust them again.
Yeah.
Well, I hope he sticks by that because. Oh, am I on mute? No, I'm not. I hope he sticks by that because, I think he does need to show a bit of bollocks if he wants to keep this job, the other side of Christmas. I look at Villa and Newcastle and think, how many games has he got left? Am I going to be going to the Newcastle game with a managerless Tottenham?
Yeah, you might actually be having to do the job yourself.
Oh, I bloody love it.
Yeah, your hospitality.
Going back to the Jekyll and Hyde thing, 2.5 weeks ago, he was manager of the month, and now he's a clown.
Yeah.
Funny, I can't believe he got manager of the month, though, for 3 1-0 wins. Really?
Yeah, because everybody else was shit.
Very true.
And there you go. So isn't that?
I'd have given it to the Brentwood manager, to be honest.
Yeah, he's done a great job. He's done a great job. Yeah.
You're a Potter.
Potter? Well, yeah, I mean, Harry, he's done a great job there. Harry Potter. He's a wizard.
But all these problems, right? All this stuff we've been chatting about predate Nuno, right? I mean, we're looking at something that's been, going back for a long, long time. Even when Poch first came in, as we mentioned before, his first few months were terrible. The end of his reign was terrible. And, managers need time to implement their approach.
They definitely do, yeah. Yeah, and I don't think Nuno has his team yet either. That's going to take time.
No. And, how much time do you give a new manager?
Well, that's the thing.
How many windows?
Will he get it? And
I think you need to give a manager at least a season.
So technically 3 windows: summer, winter, summer. Yeah, we've only given him 4 windows as in a contract. It's not going to get his team to the last 6 months of his contract at this rate.
Well, yeah, because 2 years is a silly contract, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it just comes back to that again. I don't get it. It just feels like cost saving, corner cutting, which, I can.
But would another manager, like realistically, being objective here, would they do a better job with the players that we've got, and because he came in, with all this has been going around again yesterday. He's going to make us proud, and and Levy's talking about rediscovering our DNA. It's that in a way has kind of made a rod for his back, but I'm not sure if you had another manager, would they have got a better tune out of these players?
Probably not.
Is this the limit of what they can do?
Yeah, I think this is all about the rebuild that was first really mooted about 2018. So it's still not fully happened because we've been fanning around. We've had COVID in the middle. We've had the stadium distraction, which Levy has, admitted made him drop the ball. And I think, we've just got these situations that have almost conspired against us to actually get this rebuild working. And whoever we brought in this summer, I just think would have had exact same issues. So you've got to give the guy time. But I know that's not going to happen because it doesn't work like that.
Well, several well-known journalists are already saying he's tactically out of his depth.
I think for me,
how do they know that? I mean, I find that's slightly.
How do they know that? They keep trying to play Delhi in a 4-4-3, 4-3-3 even. As fans, we sit back and yes, okay, we're all going to have opinions, but we can all see the 4-4-3 for Spurs isn't working. We don't have the players with the energy, with the passing ability, with the passion currently to play a 4-3-3. We just lack it completely. So why are we sticking with it? I have no idea. And it's almost feels like it's because he's a bloody goalkeeper. No matter what formation he's playing, he's sticking to the same tactic as a player for his whole career. And that's really harsh of me. And I'm not normally this harsh, but I don't know. I feel like we got the recruitment wrong again this summer. I mean, don't get me. It wasn't terrible, but we still never shifted enough. We still never got enough in. Do you think? Back,
I thought we shifted quite a few, really, to be honest. And you can't shift everybody because you can't shift everybody.
But okay. So the recruitment in was definitely not good enough. Like Royale doesn't really look like he's going to come good.
He's only had a couple of games though, and he's a young player. I think I do the same, Sarah. Good. I look at these players and I just think maybe he's not. And then I realise he's 21. And then you think, Christ, he's a young man.
But shouldn't we just be spending 15-20 million more on someone who's maybe got a couple of more years experience? We're in a situation now where we really might struggle this season to even equal what we managed last season, which was financially devastating for the club and meant our best players wanted to walk out the door. Can you imagine if we don't even get in the top 6 this year, what that's going to mean for the football club?
I'm going to be contentious here, and we need to strengthen, particularly in midfield. But Højbjerg for me is bang average, and I think he let players drift past him yesterday. There's been games recently that I don't think he's been anywhere near good enough. And I know people are saying, "Oh, he's our Viking. He talks a good game," but I'm not sure he's as good as we need. And I think that a lot of the problems stem from our midfield. I know the defence cops it because we're shifting, we're shifting goals. But the fact is that midfield doesn't do enough, I don't think, to be progressive, and which then takes the pressure off the back four.
But what I saw yesterday, Lee, with Højbjerg, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I think bang average isn't something that I
say I'm wrong if I am wrong, but
Well, I because I don't know for sure, but for Denmark, Højbjerg is one of their key players. So he at an international level, he's a very good player. At Spurs, I think there's a more disjointed team, so it's harder for him to shine in it. And like yesterday, he was actually covering a lot of ground for Ndombele, who, as we know, it's not that he doesn't track back, he just does it very slowly. And you can see that Højbjerg is running, he's running horizontally across the pitch because he's trying to cover all this space, which is
it's like one man on a Subitio stick,
yeah,
isn't he?
He is, and it's insanity, really.
I'm just, yeah. I mean, do you know? I mean, I'm happy to be proved wrong, and I hope I am wrong, because I'd, you know, of course,
well,
I want our players.
I don't know
to
what
succeed,
you're saying. I don't know what you're saying. He's average at, really, because he's got a certain skill set that. He certainly doesn't have the creativity of someone like.
But he's not as good defensively as he should be.
But he's not a defensive midfielder.
That's how he's been employed half the time, though, isn't it?
I know. And at Southampton, he wasn't. He was more of a kind of a box-to-box player. And in fact, when he's done that for us, he's done quite well. So maybe,
and I've said it before as well.
We should do more of that.
Reguilon, you know, I don't think he's anywhere near as good as we hoped he'd be. I mean, again, it might take another season.
Yeah.
But, you know, at the moment, some of his performances have been...
But with Reggie, I think another case of a very young player put into a very high-pressure job.
Okay, but why is it that the players at other clubs, like look at Tomiyasu, young player, gone straight in, looks like he's been playing there 10 years.
Yeah, well, I've only seen him in yesterday's game. I don't know how good he's been, to be honest.
I mean,
anybody would look good against us yesterday. But...
Yeah,
true. But I mean, you know, you do see a lot of other players that seem to go into teams and seem to fit in a lot quicker because they've made good choices in their recruitment. And I'm not
think
sure.
You're right. I think you're right on that. So for Liverpool, if you put a young player into the Liverpool side, because they're so such an engine, such a machine that's been coached within an inch of their lives, then those younger players can slot in a lot easier. And it was the same with Pochettino. You know, you could bring Onoma on in a game, and he never really shone for us, but he would do a job.
But look at Gil. You know, Gil, he's come in, and every time he comes in, he looks like he's been playing for ages for us.
But I think he's an incredible talent, and he's got an attitude where he just wants to get the ball. It's different when you're in defence and you make a mistake. Gil isn't in defence and making mistakes. If he makes a mistake further up the pitch, then it doesn't matter so much.
But okay, then how about Skip? Came in yesterday, looked twice the player Højbjerg was for me.
Well, he's more of a defensive midfielder, isn't he? He's ideal in that position, and I don't know why he was dropped, to be honest. It does seem a bit odd, but I think he is dropping players like that because he's trying to accommodate other players like Ndombele and Dele to have that creativity. So he's always juggling these different players to find the right match, and I don't think he can find the right team at the moment
because the squad isn't balanced.
Yeah, it isn't. It isn't balanced.
The squad isn't balanced.
But when him and Højbjerg played together, that's when we had those, pretty mediocre wins, but they were wins. As soon as he started dropping him out and trying to be that more, more progressive side, because he feels the pressure, I suppose, of what we all want.
Yeah,
we've been tonked every time.
Yeah.
You're talking about not being able to, play through the midfield, etc. And actually, I think Dyer has been probably one of our better players this season. And obviously he's playing in what is his preferred role as centre-back. But it's almost not working that badly in midfield. I find myself sitting there thinking, why don't we just put him back in midfield sometimes? If you've got all your centre-backs fit, I don't think anybody else is that much of a downgrade that it's actually going to affect the back line. But, it's just sometimes you just look at it and you just go, what else can we do? And that's the only thing we can do.
That's where he flourished, but hasn't he already said to the club that he doesn't see himself in that position anymore? He wants to be a centre back.
Yeah, he has said that, but
I don't think he's got the mobility for midfield. You might be right, Sarah, but I just feel he.
But as a defensive, stand there and shield the back four, which, as we said, is where he actually thrived under Pochettino.
Yeah,
he did go through a phase of making mistakes, and let's not forget he's had terrible problems with injuries really,
illness,
not the last 6 months, but the kind of 18 months previous to that sort of underpinned those mistakes. He's sort of got a negative association with it, when maybe actually, if he looks back and he thinks, I was carrying all those niggles, I wasn't quite right, for that period of time, I still think he's probably a better player